Okay, this is very exciting. Okay, so today, welcome to everyone who's watching. I have oh well, you know what? I only have my favorite people. That's all that I talk to. So this is my favorite Trevor Meyer. And so oh, you were talking to Thane maybe last week, and then I went to bed that night and I'm like, oh, I should text you and ask you to give like a parenting talk on your platform. Okay. So this is how I
Okay.
go to bed. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I have my own talk show and I can
Yes, you
have
do.
guests on it. So that's why. So then I thought, well, that's where this came from. So
Awesome.
what I would like you to, um, because I love the values that you have. I have learned, so we went to camp together like in the 80s, but
Yeah, come on.
I
Woohoo.
don't really remember. Oh yeah, we're 1973 babies, which is sweet. Anyway,
Jubilee. Jubilee
um,
this year.
yeah. So, but then we got reconnected 4 years ago when I got sick out of Thane was desperate, so that was good. Anyway, as a mom, I have just observed your relationship with your kids
Mhm.
and have been blown away. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And so I've learned like I shift lots. Like if you talk to
Okay.
my kids, like parenting in 2003 is different than
Oh yeah.
2023. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Because I observe people, see what they do, and then try it out and see if it lands. But anyway, so if you could just talk about your values as a family and as a dad, and yeah, we'll start there.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think parenting, like, well, values are, well, I was gonna say I think parenting is you kind of just learn as you go. Like it really is hands-on training, I think. But anyway, but yeah, values. I think we value authenticity. I don't like that to use that word a ton because it's
So what
so,
does
I
that
think it's
mean to
so.
you? Can you
So what it
explain
means,
that to me?
yeah, I'll tell you what it means. So I had a guy ask me one time, I was speaking out in Toronto, and this guy, the youth pastor drove me to the airport when we were done.
Mhm.
So we're driving to the airport, and he just started asking me all these parenting questions, which was really, really funny, I thought. And he said, hey, what would you give me advice? Because they just had a new baby
And how
and there's
old are your
family was
kids at
starting.
this time?
Oh, this was like I want to say like 5 years ago,
Okay.
6 years ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so our kids were now all, well, not all of them, I guess, no, because our youngest is 17. He just graduated grade 12. He
Mhm.
turns 18 also. Anyway, so I said to this guy, I said, I think the biggest thing is in ministry because it's different. I think it's different in, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Basically, um, the big thing was that my kids saw the same person at home as they did up on a platform speaking or sharing or whatever if I'm
Yeah.
preaching. So it's like the same guy, and they're not going, "Oh, that's not like my
This.
dad." What, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so anyway, understanding that obviously there's certain things you share at a family level you're not going to share publicly.
Yeah.
However, so this youth pastor, his name is Cayenne, and he's a real sweet guy, and so he said, "What would you say to me?" And I said, "Well, that was it." I said, "Just be if yourself, you be yourself." And along with that then comes, because no one, we know that we're all works in progress, aren't we? So with that authenticity, then when you do blow it,
Huh.
like I say it all the time, I'm always, I have chats with the kids all the time. It's like, going after, um, you know, something. I'll give you an example. So we have we've got several cars here. My son has 3 cars. He just bought
Oh,
another one yesterday. He owns three. He owns a truck and 2 cars. He's got to
mhm.
sell some. Anyway, so I'm helping him work on stuff and this and that. And sometimes he gets pretty particular about things. So then I might say, well, uh, it can get heated a little bit. Dad, don't do it that way.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
like, son, I know what I'm doing here. So just trust me on this one, right? Anyway, so being authentic when you do have stuff where you say you raise your voice, you get upset, you get mad, you blow a head gasket, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
always go back before. I was always taught this before the night's over. Always go back and make your peace. Like, make sure things are good and apologize. You know, um, yeah. So honesty, integrity, not honesty, integrity, but authenticity. So
Right.
when you do blow it, own your poop and like
Yep.
apologize. I think
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
big
yeah.
thing. Anyway,
Pride has no place.
yeah,
But
really. And actually, on that note, Tani, one of the biggest things is the healthier we are as adults, like in our hearts, the way better we do it, the way better spouses we are, the way better
yeah.
parents we are, all the way through. And one thing that was huge. So our firstborn, we were young. Um, Janelle was born in '98. We were married in '95. She was born in '98. And we came out of the persuasion that, as a lot of '70s kids did, that spare the rod, spoil the child, that kind of thing, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so it was always but the pressure of being a new parent, what I found most difficult was all the other eyes on you, watching you parent.
Hmm.
But and so once by the time our youngest came along, our parenting methods changed a lot, especially in
Yeah.
discipline,
Yeah.
because it used to, and of course this, that each little life is individual, and so you can't parent them the same way you
Right.
parent one versus the other. It
Yeah.
just doesn't work that way. So anyway, what happened was, um, the more we worked on our own selves, like Mel and I got some counseling, call it therapy, spiritual therapy, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
The more that we allowed God to dig in the garden of our heart and see
Mhm.
more healing come to us, the less yelling, the less bickering, the less
Right.
it all, you know. I don't want to, but hey, welcome to our home. You could come in here and you could hear somebody maybe shouting out something. Hey, what are you doing? Da, da, da. Stop yelling. Da, da, da. But anyway, yeah.
So when you went through, did you call it counseling? What did you call it? Therapy?
Well, inner healing. It's inner
Inner
healing.
healing.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So was
yeah,
that, well, I'm gonna word it like this, and
yeah.
maybe was that like for selfish reasons, or was that
Totally.
to get healthy so that you could be a better parent? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. But it was selfish, but it was also all of the above, because it was selfish because we just said we're a loving home, but yeah, we bicker too much. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like the atmosphere in the home. Like,
Yeah.
this person raises their voice, the next person's going to be louder and loud, and it's good, right,
Yeah.
to get the top. And
Yeah.
I just felt, yeah. And so we went, we just booked in, and it's a whole week of ministry, personal ministry, where husband will go in the morning or afternoon, split it up. So first of all, you go together, and then you do half a day separate. She'll do morning, you'll do afternoon. I did afternoon, or flip it, whatever,
Yeah.
and do 5 days straight. So it's like, mine was a little more intense, because maybe I was a little bit more had a few more screws loose and whatnot. But they'd spend like 6 to 8 hours with me. Like, we'd go into the evenings and stuff. So I did. It was pretty intense. So it's an intense week. It's like 5 intense days
Yeah.
of digging down to like roots in our hearts and stuff. It's pretty intense.
So did
But
you notice a shift right away then after you went through that, or did you have to like um mentally you know how we have patterns that we just automatically do stuff because that's how we
uh-huh.
do stuff? Did
Yeah.
you have to stop yourself and be like, no, 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 this isn't how I'm going to react anymore? Do you know what I'm asking?
No. Yeah, I totally
Okay.
do. Yeah. It was so funny because I always preach this and teach us too, that we're changed from the inside out. Everything with the Lord is from the inside out. And so we try to control ourselves from the outside in. Don't
Uh,
don't yell as much. Don't do this. It's all discipline, discipline.
right.
But
Yeah.
unless the inside gets unstopped and goodness can start coming out and that can start manifesting, um, I don't think you can. I don't think it doesn't work from the.
Can't will it.
It might work for a few days from the
Right.
outside in, but you
Yeah.
won't see lasting change. So what we found though was, this was funny. So Mel had this light. As you know, we do like a lot of renovations and stuff like that. Mel had this light fixture that she wanted to put up in her bedroom, like a little light fixture with dangly things on it and stuff, kind of fancy or whatever.
Chandelier.
Yeah, but not really, because I hit my head
Oh,
on it.
okay. More modern.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, So it's in so this thing, she'd asked me this so many times. I don't know how many times. And probably some of those times I'm like, "Han, just leave me alone, okay? Like I'm so busy right now. I can't do this. I don't want to hear about it." That
Yeah.
was probably the response. I'm not
Yeah.
quoting verbatim, but I know me. So anyway, and then I go through my all my stuff, and we're dealing with the heart stuff and whatever. And I come home, I got done my session, and then she went into hers, or vice versa, whatever. But we weren't together. And I got home, and I saw the light fixture there that had been sitting there for probably like 6 months. I saw it, and I thought, oh, I'll put that up. So I just grabbed it and started putting it up, and put it up. Mel got home, and she's like, "You put the light fixture up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I guess. Yeah, I did. Yeah." And she thought it was something that came out of one of the sessions, but it had nothing to do with the session.
Uh,
Actually, it did, because one of the things, this is kind of funny. One of the things was, an ungodly belief that I had deep down inside,
mhm.
that was, anything I ever do isn't good enough. It was a lot good enough. Yeah.
Get
And
out.
so and so what it did was, when I dealt with that thing, and got to the root of it, and just prayed through it or whatever,
Mhm.
uh something shifted. I didn't know that, though. I didn't have a clue. But we'd been praying through stuff, and they've been clearing all this ground in my heart for a week now. And I just
Right.
came home and put up a light, like no big deal. It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. But then it took me a moment after to sit down and go, wait a minute. Oh yeah, why did we do that? Oh, this is, oh yeah, wow. So
Mhm.
anyway,
Huh.
um,
Um,
yeah,
okay, go ahead.
no, that's okay. I have a tendency to talk a lot on this
No, but
stuff, so
that's what I
I'm not.
wanted. I have a tendency to interrupt, so I should almost have a little muzzle on. So,
No, it's
no, if
all
you have
good.
something to
You're the
say, go
host.
ahead.
It's all good.
Okay. So this is a value that that I just heard you say last week, and it
Hmm.
was so unexpected. So you're like, so we have one, no, we have one rule in our house. And so when I'm
Oh,
hearing you talk about
oh
this,
yeah,
like my
yeah.
head is like, okay, I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what it is. Okay. I probably had
Okay.
like 8 in my head, because
Yeah.
I love rules and structure. And I feel like when I'm at school, if I know what your standards are, I feel like a bouncer. I will uphold that. That's what I can follow that. That makes sense
Hmm.
to me. Willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I like willy-nilly in art and music or whatever, but I don't know. Anyway, so when you had said, we have one rule in our house. Okay.
Yeah.
Just, and
Did
can
you
you
guess? Did you guess it or no?
Oh, no, never,
Oh,
never
okay.
would have I ever guessed that. So tell us what your one rule is at your
Well,
house.
it's so funny. We probably have more than that, but one of the big things is that we kind of determined that, I don't want to allow shame in my house. So so yeah, so it's like no shame. So if you like, we're talking about parenting. So if one of the kids, let's say, makes a decision that is negative to their person, okay, so it's not a positive decision, it's not a good, they made a dumb choice, okay.
Yeah,
It would be easy for me to say, why would you do that? Why would you make that decision? Like, that wouldn't be good for you.
right.
And that and automatically what happens is, as I'm talking like that, the in my experience anyway, I'm not saying this is for all across the board, but I found our kids would just lock up then, because
Of
I would
course.
do that, and the
Yes.
walls go up and stuff. So then, pardon me, the more we got healed, and we could identify shame more. It's like, because there's this nasty cycle. It started back in the Garden in Eden, this shame, fear, control cycle. So somebody feels shame about something, they're scared. Oh no, they're going to find out what I'm really like. I'm a flawed person, and then they're going to reject me. So I'll control the situation by lying about it, or
Yeah.
by Adam and Eve covered up, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was their thing. They covered up. So what we say is, it's a shame. This is a shame-free zone. We don't allow. The rule is, we don't allow any shame here. So if somebody does something that is contrary to, say, our values or our beliefs, that how we want to run things around here,
Yeah.
then we know that, yeah, they made a dumb mistake. It was stupid. But
Yeah.
we're not gonna put shame on them, because when all the dust settles, like the next day, perhaps,
Right.
when perhaps maybe cooler minds prevail, and heads have been cleared a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
then we want to have this conversation. And a lot of times is, people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how stupid I was last night. I'm so embarrassed. So embarrassment is a shame thing, right? So we're just like, no, we're not
Yeah.
gonna allow that. I just don't want to have that. So then that way, hopefully, people feel a little more open to share, and you don't have to deal with as many walls to get into the at the
Well, I
heart.
think freedom is attached to that. Like if
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
feel, um, what's the word? Like whatever you say isn't going to create a division. Does that make sense? Like I feel
Yeah.
like shame is um so debilitating. And I
Yeah.
didn't and I didn't realize, okay, so that's been this week actually. Okay. So Gage and Harley are home.
Yeah.
Um, and so when I heard you say this, then we're talking about this. And as we're like just in our everyday being with each other, I'm like, dang it. I'm just dumping, like, I'm just like kind of pouring out shame, like just with
Hmm.
my words, how I'm
Hmm.
phrasing things. And I
Yeah.
was completely unaware of that because, well, I think we're all trying to do our best,
Yeah,
right?
I know. And then
Always. And
yeah,
then,
totally.
yeah. And then for this to kind of like be e- exposed, I'm like, ah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it's just one thing at a time, right? So we're not
Yeah.
dealing with all the things. But I kind of thought that I was, a little closer to perfection, but I'm not. Dang it. So,
Yeah. Well,
okay.
that's the whole thing. What you know what was huge, and I mentioned this earlier. I'll tell you what, as parents too, you go out. Let's say you go out somewhere when your kids are little, and your kid starts throwing a fit somewhere, or this or that. And when you're not a parent, you have all the answers. You know how the parent,
Oh my
everyone should.
gosh, don't you?
Oh yeah,
I'm not going
totally.
to
And
let
then
them do that.
I know, and then you have your own kid, but why do we have this mindset? Like I don't know. Well, it's a mindset of perfectionism, and it's an
Mhm.
identity thing for sure. But this idea that we have to have this perfectly set up family, that our kids are perfect, and it's so ridiculous. Like it's such an it can be an unspoken thing, an unspoken but expected, like other people, especially in our scenario, because we were in ministry, so we're kind of,
Right.
you're in front of the people all the time. And this was, I'll tell you this, Tani. One of our claims to fame is this. Janelle went to this school of ministry in Toronto, so she graduated high school. Her whole life, all she's known is ministry.
Mhm.
She got to the school of ministry, and they go through a lot of heart healing, things like that, and so they go through father issues and mother issues and all that kind of stuff. And somebody asked her, they said, "What was it like growing up being a PK?" And she goes, "I'm not sure I understand what you mean." And they said, like, "Well, you're a PK." And she goes, "But I don't know what you mean when you say PK." And he goes,
Uh-huh.
"You're a pastor's kid. You're a PK."
Yeah.
And she stopped and she goes, "Oh," she goes, I've never ever thought of it like that. I've never ever thought that, oh, I'm a pastor's kid. Like that wasn't in
Yeah.
her mindset. But I
Yeah.
remember, I remember as she was a kid, just a kid, like probably for sure under 11. And I just said to her, I said, I've told all the kids this too, but just because people see me up front and this and that and whatever, and I'm in ministry and whatever, uh, just because you're my child, there's zero expectation or, hang on a second here. Sorry. Um, there we go. Sorry, Tani.
Hope it's
Sorry,
good. I hope it was a
sorry,
good text.
sorry about that. No, somebody called me, and I
Oh,
can't. It
delete.
was a phone
Or,
call, but that's okay. Anyway, and she didn't even know what it meant. But what I told her though was, I said, it doesn't matter. You are not Trevor's daughter, as like public Trevor's daughter or whatever. You
Mhm.
are, or ministry daughter. You are Janelle Meyer. Like you're Janelle. That's who you are.
Yeah.
So don't. So if somebody comes up to you and says, "Well, you shouldn't do that because your dad is this or your da da da," I said, "You have my full permission just to say I don't receive that from you and just walk away."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. So did you come up with that on your own, or did you see that and that's what you wanted for your kids? You know what I'm
No, yeah, we stumbled onto that one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta tell you, this is cool. I never knew. It was so funny. I never, like, so we raised Janelle. Then we had then of course we got Sarah and then Carter.
Mhm.
But by the time we got to Carter, I said earlier, we our parenting skills, our discipline especially, shifted and changed quite a bit. I read the book and heard Danny Silk talk about it, and I can't remember what the book is called. I don't recall, but anyway, it's
No,
a
I
parent.
know. Yeah, I read it too, and I think it was Gage that said so. When we were down in Reading,
Yeah.
so I went to lots of his. Well, we had lots of stuff to do with all of them. But anyway, this is what Gage
Mm.
says after we move back here. That Danny Silk stuff isn't going to work on me.
Gage
Okay, but
said
anyway,
that.
go ahead. Yeah, Gage said that. He would have been like 5. Well, because I was
Yeah.
very I was always trying something different. Like I'd read a
Yeah.
book and I'd try this. I'd read a book. Do you know what
Okay.
I mean? Or I'd hear
Yeah.
something and I'd try that. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead about your Danny
No,
Silk.
that's no, that's fine. It's so funny actually today, driving home today, Mel and I were out, we came back and I was gonna clean up the garage a little bit and I thought of Danny Silk's book because that was one of his things where when you're
That
a
story.
child, yeah, the story about staying up really late or sorry, yeah, the kids staying up late, not wanting to go to bed. And they're like, oh, okay, perfect. Well, let's go. We're gonna go. You stay up, no problem. Now that you're awake, let's go. We're gonna clean the garage. And then they put him in the garage and oh, all of a sudden I'm tired, I'm ready for bed. So,
I had the
yeah.
kids picking dandelions when they were
Perfect.
tired. Yeah.
That's
They
great.
they kind of loved it a little bit, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna I'd gone for a walk. This maybe was 3 months ago. And I'd never heard these two words put together that I remember. I thought I made it up, to be honest. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, parental trauma.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm like, whoa, what is that? Okay. And
Yeah.
then I'm on YouTube and then I'm probably listening to something and I'm like, what? This is a thing? Other people have thought of this? Okay.
Wow.
So what are your, well, not feelings about that? Well, maybe feelings. Tell me when I say those words, tell me what you,
What comes to mind?
yeah.
Well, to me, when you say parental trauma, it sounds like the parent is traumatized by something
Yes,
regarding parenting,
obviously.
right?
Have you heard that phrase before?
Oh, I never have. No, no.
Oh, you
But
haven't. Oh, okay.
no,
Yes.
no.
Okay. Well, then we don't even have to talk about it, but that's exactly what it is. So if like your kid, because let's say your kid is going through something
Yeah.
and well, even, okay, you know what? Let's talk about Thane.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Thane.
Okay.
So he's shot when he's 20.
Yeah.
It was a horrible experience. I'm not laughing. Looks like I'm laughing. I'm laughing a little bit, but it's not because it's funny. Okay, it was an
Yeah.
awful experience. He's like,
Yeah.
if anybody tells you that being shot doesn't hurt, it's like they're lying to you. He's like, it's the
Yeah.
worst pain ever. Okay.
Yeah.
So he had to process through all of that. And like, he's worked through it all. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody ever thinks about the parents.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
for
because
sure.
your focus is on kind of I'll say the victim, whoever it's
Yeah.
like affecting directly, but then there's
Sure.
all this like shrapnel
Yeah.
hitting
Wow.
other people. And anyway, yeah,
Wow.
that's
So I mean, I think that that's obviously a very real thing. And you think
mhm,
about parents who have children that are going through really, really tough stuff. Obviously that's very traumatic to the parent themselves for them to go
yeah,
through stuff.
yeah.
It's like, sorry, it's a little loud. A vehicle went by.
Oh, one of Carter's.
No, no, we would have heard that from a mile away. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's wild. No, I'd not heard of that, but that
oh,
makes
so I could have told you that I made that up. Dang it.
could have totally, yeah,
Yeah, and you
yeah.
would have been like, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing of that.
That's awesome.
No, because there's lots of, well, you know what? People, you, um, and like families go through hard things, right?
Yeah,
And yeah. And anyway, I don't know what to do about it other than, well, with our little red hens diaper bundle delivery, we're like looking after the mom or
yeah,
looking after, do you know what I mean? Because I feel like, well, Sarah and I are, yeah, we want to start because sometimes bringing home a baby's traumatic. It's
Yeah.
really, it's really, I don't even care. It's so funny because you think, I don't know, you have a different perception of it. And then when it happens, you're like, holy smokes, how come
Yeah.
nobody's talking about this? Is what it feels. And then you kind of just work through it and you get on with it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
That's funny. Oh, I
okay.
know. Raising kids, that's it. I think, well, my nephew was born a month before Janelle, and he was the first newborn I'd ever held in my life.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of, holding little babies and having them spit up and puke on me and stuff like that. That's not my thing at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so it was a real breakthrough then when I even held my own kids. It was wonderful.
Okay. Did you
Yeah.
change Chanel's diaper? That's what I want to know.
Oh yeah, I changed diapers. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and I
Oh,
had him.
changed diapers.
Okay, that's good. No, Thane,
Did
it,
Thane refuse to do diapers or
it,
what?
no, I'm not going to use the word refuse,
Okay.
although that is very fitting. No, this is how it is he can gut a deer, like he can do all the gross things. He's eaten
Yeah.
frog's legs. He's like eating squirrels. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah.
gross to him. That's super gross to me.
Okay.
Poop? Like baby poop?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't. I'm gonna throw up. So that was
That's
fine
funny.
because I do
Yeah.
love changing diapers. So that wasn't a big deal. Um,
That's funny.
but yeah. So it was a good, I don't know what he did in return. He must have picked up the slack somewhere, but it wasn't
Oh
in
yeah.
changing diapers department, that's for sure. Anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm gonna ask one more question.
Mhm.
Um, I just thought of it. What is so for new parents, what is the best piece of advice that you would give to them?
Uh, I gotta have two. I gotta have two. Can I
Okay,
have
no,
two?
just one. No, I'm kidding. You can have 9. I don't care.
Okay. I'll have two. I'll do one what you'd seem to be positive, and then one that you might seem to be negative, but it's not negative. But
Okay.
okay, the one that everyone knows is, and the positive would be that uh, cherish every moment because it goes by so fast. Like, right, it just blows by. You're like, what the heck? Like, all
Yeah.
of a sudden here we are, and it's like the last one's done high school, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's wild. So that's kind of a given. But the other one is for a new like parent with a newborn, like newborn child is home. They're not they're not gonna break. Like you're not gonna break them. So like give yourself a break. Because like I remember thinking we're just walking around with this newborn. It's like, oh, I don't want to drop her. I don't want to, but
Yeah.
they can handle a lot. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest like, dropping them a ton, but
Skydiving.
yeah, but there is I would say, yeah, they're not gonna break. So
Yes, because well, especially with the first ones,
yeah,
they seem well, when we left the hospital,
yeah.
I'm like, how come we're just allowed to do this?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Oh, it looks like my
So,
time. Oh, we're running out of time. So that's
hey,
I don't
no
want to.
problem. You're gonna
Okay,
Carter. Oh, there goes one of the cars.
let's
The
listen.
big, the loud one. One of
Okay,
the loud ones.
I don't
I
hear
don't know if
it.
you can hear it or not.
No.
You can't hear that, eh?
No, not at all. I think you're making
Oh
that up.
wow. It's like no, it's like so loud. So loud.
Maybe all your trees like snag the
I don't know.
sound.
That's wild. Yeah, yeah. That's
Oh,
wild.
okay,
Anyway.
well, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing your
thanks
heart.
for thanks for having me on here. I love the Honesty Project. I love was it I don't know if it was the last episode with Thane and you in the car.
Yep,
Yeah, that was awesome. I loved it.
good stuff.
Great.
You shouldn't have said his name.
I should never. I should have.
No, no, you shouldn't have.
Oh, why not?
Because he likes to be anonymous and
Oh, okay.
unknown.
Well,
So
too
anyway,
late.
not sure who
Too
that
late.
guy was.
Yeah, it's too late.
Anyway,
Awesome.
okay, I'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.